This dude, Matt Ishbia, this random owner, buys the team, and then in the next, 6 months, trades for Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. I mean, he does not give a shit about future. He does not care about anyone's feelings. He just wants to win. And part of me thinks that he didn't do a lot of thinking when he made these trades. He was just kind of like, fuck it, we have a 67-year-old Kevin Durant, so we got to compete now. And part of it makes sense, but there are also some reasons why this team has the potential to fail miserably. Feel free to subscribe. It's big red button. Pretty cool button. But let's get real for a second, okay? Ever since 2015, or, the Heat era, we've seen the popularity of super teams rise like crazy. But over the last couple years, we've started to see super teams become less and less successful because depth in the NBA is becoming a lot more important. People are becoming a lot more talented. Role players are playing a huge part. So constructing a team like the Nets tried to do is becoming less and less successful. Having 3 players who play the exact same way is not always going to be a successful strategy, all right? I talked about it a little bit in this video. Having a team based around 2 ISO players or an ISO-based duo doesn't bode well, and that's been proven in the past. So with this Suns team, it's pretty unique, all right? Bradley Beal is a score-first player. Devin Booker is a score-first player. Kevin Durant is obviously a score-first player. What's different about this team than other super teams in the past is because now they have some depth. I mean, last year they had no depth, but what I've been really impressed with this Suns team is the depth they added in this offseason is beautiful. I mean, you add a guy like Eric Gordon, Yuta Watanabe, Bol. You got 8 rotational players with the ability for more. So depth isn't a concern. But if we look at the last time a team like this was constructed, what do we run into? We run into this absolute disaster. And yes, I know they only played 17 games together, but the problem was they didn't have a system. If you look at the last couple years, teams who win the championship have systems. The Nuggets had one of the most beautiful systems I've ever seen in the history of the NBA. The Warriors have insane off-ball chemistry and have had their system forever. The Bucks weren't just an ISO team, they had a system. That Nets team, it was just ISO ball. It was just Steve Nash had no control over anything. And what we saw with the Suns team last year was a lot of your turn, my turn basketball. That's why they lost to the Nuggets, because the Nuggets had a cohesive system with a lot of pick and rolls and a lot of swinging the ball around and a lot of passing for open shots. The Suns last year were just, okay, D-Book's turn, KD's turn, D-Book's turn, KD's turn. So that's a problem. You had a third star. Yes, it takes a lot of pressure off of defenses. But now another problem that presents itself is Bradley Beal is going to have to play a role that he's never played before. And stars kind of fitting themselves into a different role hasn't proven to bode well in the past. For example, Melo in New York obviously had a 60% usage rate. He was that guy, and he was the number 1 option, the number 1 scorer. Then he goes to be a third option in Oklahoma City, and we know what happened with that team. 3 pure scorers fail to succeed. So Bradley Beal coming in and having to fit in as this facilitator player, I'm not saying it's not going to work. I think Bradley Beal is a really dynamic player, and I think he has more potential to play off ball than other star shooting guards in this league do. But we see from the past that this is a risk. James Harden adjusting to a fully second option facilitator role in Philly has not worked well. He's requested a trade. The Sixers haven't made it past the second round. Harden dropped 6 points in a playoff game multiple times. Superstars adjusting to a role they're not used to takes a long time, and a lot of the time it doesn't work at all. So Bradley Beal having to do this is risky, but I'm not saying it's not going to work. And last but not least, for reasons why I think this team could fail, it's the defense. And look, I'm not going to be one of those casuals who's just like, oh, Devin Booker doesn't know how to play defense, Kevin Durant doesn't know how to play defense. They're both decent defenders, and Bradley Beal is another decent defender. But they don't have a player off the bench like a Royce O'Neal or someone that can come in and guard your best player. They also have terrible interior defense. Stopping a Nikola Jokic, DeAndre Ayton cannot guard Nikola Jokic for his life. I mean, it's ridiculous. Bol obviously can't do much on the defensive end in the paint. Yeah, he's lengthy, and yeah, he can block shots. But when you put a post-first player like Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic or Cat on him, Bol can't stand with those guys. They don't have great interior defense, and having to rely on these 3 older stars to put everything they have on the defensive end and put everything they have on the offensive end isn't sustainable. So you're going to see a lot of teams abuse this team defensively, especially in the regular season. So the defense is something that I'm really concerned about. A lot of stars are going to feast on this team. No matter if you think D-Book and Beal are 2 of the best perimeter defenders in the league, having to rely on those superstars like that to do all they're doing on the offensive end, plus put so much work in on the defensive end, it's not going to be well, because they're all three of them are going to play at least 40 minutes a night. The biggest competition for them next year are the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Warriors, and the Bucks. Look, I think this Suns team could be a top 5 team in the entire league. I think giving Devin Booker and KD another year to mesh with each other will bode really well for the performance of this team. Monty Williams was not a good fire. I don't think he deserved to be fired, but Frank Vogel is a championship-winning coach, so he's had to deal with star duos with big egos before, so he's going to be used to this. But it's so hard for me to believe that this Suns team can beat Nikola Jokic at any point. Like I talked about in my last video, the Nuggets got worse, and the Suns got a lot better, so that gives them a better chance. But Nikola Jokic versus DeAndre Ayton, nothing else might matter if that's the case, if Nikola Jokic is ISOing against DeAndre Ayton every single play. The Bucks, they got a lot healthier, and they're refreshed, and they re-signed Brook Lopez, they re-signed Drew Holiday, they added a shooter in Malik Beasley. I don't see the Suns being able to hold up with the Bucks defensively. I really, really don't. And obviously the Bucks beat the Suns in the finals. Drew Holiday has proven to be a very good perimeter defender. Brook Lopez is one of the best interior defenders in the league. They don't match up well. Sure, Beal and Booker are going to be able to get their own in a series like that, but Giannis is going to be able to do what he wants in that series. KD is not going to stay with Giannis. Bol is not going to stay with Giannis. DeAndre Ayton is not going to stay with Giannis. It's good. They're going to have to rely on their offense, and that strategy is not proven to bode well. Look, I still think the Suns team can do it. You know, their depth is really, really, really promising. And I think Bol can really come into his own when teams are going to have to not focus on him as much, when they have to focus on Beal, KD, and Booker. But there's just little issues that I think can possibly prohibit this team from succeeding and winning a championship. Right now, they're putting all their eggs in one basket. And the time that the Suns did make the playoffs, they had a Mikal Bridges, they had a defensive monster, they had Cam Johnson, another defensive monster, another spot-up three-point shooter. They don't have that defensive presence that every single championship team needs and has. Look, if this team stays healthy and they make the Western Conference Finals, I would not be surprised. But if they do get past the Denver Nuggets or the Lakers, it would be a little bit surprising to me. It would. So anyways, guys, yeah, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Follow for more. Yeah, let me know what you guys think down below.